All right, let's get right into it. We're tackling what might be the biggest question of our time, something that's changing our jobs, our creativity, and even how we think. When it comes to AI, are we building a partner or are we just training our own replacement?
So let's start with a really powerful, optimistic way to look at this. Think of AI not as a second brain, but more like an external battery for your own brain. The whole point isn't to think for you, but to give you a jolt right when you're stuck in a rut, to break you out of that autopilot mode and spark a totally new idea. It's a power up, not a takeover. But, that rosy picture isn't a given. It really puts us at a fork in the road, forcing a choice between two very, very different futures. In one path, AI is a tool we control, something that augments our own abilities. But on the other path, it becomes a force that replaces our skills, a force that basically starts to wield us. And this isn't some sci-fi movie plot. We are making this choice every single day. Okay, so let's dive into the first arena where this all plays out, our jobs. How is this new game changing the rules of work? Are you going to be a player or just a piece on the board? For a lot of people, this quote right here is the frustrating reality. The big promise was that AI would free us up from all the boring, tedious stuff. But for some, it's just turned into an electronic whip. Oh, you can create that report in 5 minutes instead of an hour? Awesome. Now your boss wants 50 reports a day. Instead of being liberated, we're just becoming faster cogs in a machine that's demanding more than ever. So here's the absolute crux of it. Our value at work is shifting, big time. Look at that first column. Calculation, compiling data, following instructions. AI is brilliant at that stuff. Our new value, our human edge, is everything in that second column. It's not about finding the answer anymore. It's about having good judgment, thinking strategically, and bringing empathy to the table. An AI can tell you the probability of something, sure, but you have to be the one to decide what level of risk is actually worth taking.
Now, let's move on, because this same dynamic is playing out in our next arena, and this one might be even more surprising. We're talking about creativity itself.
Think back just a couple of years ago. The big race in generative AI was all about what's called aesthetic fidelity. Basically, the entire goal was to get an AI to create images or music or text that was so good, so technically perfect, that you couldn't tell it apart from something a human made. It was all about making it look good. But now, wow, we are living through a massive shift. The goal isn't just looking good anymore. The goal is being popular. This new generation of AI, it scours the internet, analyzes what's going viral, and literally extracts these so-called emotional parameters. Then it injects them into new content to make it as viral as possible. Creativity is being turned into a science of popularity. And what's the result of all this? Well, you've probably felt it while you're scrolling. Our digital world is getting flooded with what people are calling AI slop. It's mass-produced content that is perfectly engineered for clicks and engagement. It checks every box for the algorithm, but it's just missing something, right? It feels soulless, like a shallow echo of a real human feeling. Which brings us to a really critical question. If the whole point of creating something is just to feed the algorithm what it wants, what happens to genuine human inspiration? That messy, unpredictable, totally inefficient spark that creates truly groundbreaking art. And this brings us to the most important arena of all. Because this isn't just about our jobs or our art anymore. This is about the battleground inside our own heads. And this slide just nails the choice we have to make. On one hand, we can let AI become a mental wheelchair. It does all the thinking for us, and just like muscles you never use, our cognitive abilities start to, they atrophy. We get weaker. On the other hand, we can use it as a mental exoskeleton. It helps us lift way heavier intellectual loads, think bigger thoughts, but, and this is the key, we still have to do the work. We provide the force, the tool just amplifies it. The neuroscience on this is crystal clear. Our brains learn and form new connections by struggling through problems. Experts call it desirable difficulty. When we just hand that struggle over to an AI, what's called cognitive offloading, we're actually bypassing the very process our brains need to learn. You gotta remember the old rule. Neurons that fire together, wire together. If we stop firing them, they stop wiring. So how do you actually build that mental gym instead of just coasting in the wheelchair? It's all about flipping the script. Instead of just asking AI for the answer, try using tools that act like a Socratic tutor. They ask you questions, forcing you to think it through. Instead of blindly trusting what an AI spits out, go hallucination hunting. Actively try to find its mistakes. It's a great way to train your own critical thinking. And treat writing prompts like a fun logic puzzle. The better you get at it, the sharper your own reasoning becomes. So with all this change in our work, our art, and our own minds, what's our ultimate defense? What are those uniquely human skills that create a kind of uncrossable moat around our value? This is it. This is our moat. And notice, it's not built by being faster at math. It's built from these deeply human hybrid skills. It's the ability to walk into a tense meeting and just read the room. It's having the wisdom to draw the ethical lines for new tech. It's that sensory awareness to know what an experience doesn't just look like, but what it truly feels like. It's the intuition to make that leap from a blank page to a brand new idea. And it's the empathy to provide real comfort and connection in a way no algorithm ever could. So I'll leave you with this one thought. AI is becoming a near-perfect answering machine. You can give it almost any problem and it'll find a solution. That means the most valuable, the most powerful, and the most essentially human skill is no longer finding the answer, it's framing the right question. The future belongs to the best question askers.